Thanks for watching this quick video about an inspiration I wanted to share. So I was curious about how Board pulls in web service data. So the experiment I came up with was I wanted to pull the forecast, the say 10-day forecast for two cities from the Yahoo Weather data service and see what that looks like, pulling that into Board and showing that on a screen. And here we have, this is the end result. I put some date selectors along the top. You can flip between two cities. I chose Vancouver and Las Vegas. There's a button that will reload, and this ties to a process which will go and do everything necessary to connect to the data, to the web service, pull down new data, and refresh the screen. And these are the metrics that we can pull in. So let's take a look at some of the details here. If we look at the process first, so one thing I've done is I guess I don't really need the save data entry as a first step, but I clear all the cubes, and then I run the board data connectors, just one data connector that I need to run, refresh the screen, and exit the procedure. So fairly straightforward. If we look at the data reader in particular, now there's two data readers that I've used. I use an ASCII data reader to just load in some icons that I found. Those are handy to show as a tool tip or maybe even a dashboard piece, but those are, I'll leave those in the package as well. The main part is this connector. So you'll see that now that I've set up this data source and query, I have it available on the right work pane. I can browse the default data, the data that comes back from the query. So this just tells me everything's working correctly, but I want to go into a little more detail and show everyone how this works. So if I go to edit, and this would be the same as if we went to a new data connector and then click new. So first we need a data source. So here I'm using Yahoo Weather. It's called Yahoo Weather. These are names I just type in, Yahoo Weather, and give it a description. I need my Yahoo credentials. So this particular one, there's no Yahoo private data that's being accessed. So I don't think you really need to register it as an app with Yahoo. But if you do want to look at data of Yahoo friends and that kind of thing, you might need to register it as an app with Yahoo. But once you've got the credentials in there for the data source, you can start putting together a query. So here's my 10-day forecast query. If I edit that one, I've given it a name, and this should actually say Yahoo Weather. And then this is the YQL query. So it looks a lot like SQL, the same kind of format. If you search Google for YQL, you'll find a lot of detail around different queries you can do, different objects that are available. If you want to reuse what's right here, you can just switch the text from Vancouver, Canada, and Las Vegas to whatever cities you want to use, and then you can use it as it is. And just to validate it's working, you can click on test extract query, and you can get a look at the data set that comes back. So everything looks good. Cancel out of here. Now I'm back at looking at my data reader. So I've already linked all the fields in the data reader with what comes back out of this data source. So the links are all in here. I won't save my changes right now. So we've looked at the procedure, we've looked at the data readers, and this is what the end result looks like. But we can also take a look at the entities and the relationships. So these are the entities I've used. There's not really too many. Really, city is the most important one. The time is at the daily grain, because that's the date we have daily grain data coming out of Yahoo. So if we look at also relationships, we can see city, region, country. So we get those three properties out of the Yahoo dataset. And cubes. So I've set up cubes for a number of the different metrics that we get out of that same data set to make it available. And this forecast picture is a picture cube. This is the one that's a separate data reader. I just load in some images, some GIF images for different types of forecasts. We could kind of show that as a dashboard or a little icon somewhere. My thinking around this is, you go into something as simple as an elevator or a lobby, and oftentimes you'll see a forecast image of, it's cloudy or sunny. It's just some kind of a GIF, just on the small section of the screen somewhere. And really, that's all there is to it. So hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. My name is Bob Gill. My email address is bob.gill@clearinsight.ca. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions you got. Thanks.